So I just made a reaction video to this really funny comedy thing, or it's a joke about a politician. I'll put that linked either in the description or in the related video, depending on how long this is. If it's a short or a video, I don't know. We'll find out together, I guess. So I was talking about the title of the video is How Institutions Have Been Scamming People Since the Dawn of Humanity. And institutions have been scamming people since the dawn of humanity, but it's not because institutions are inherently scammy. It's because institutions are necessary. Hold up. Institutions are necessary, humans are scammy. So, or at least fallen nature, let's say fallen nature is scammy. So, people will create, let's say, like I figure out that we need firewood and water. You need water for drinking, you need firewood for fuel. Okay. So I make an institution that provides firewood and water. Cool. Well, now someone's going to realize that running the institute, like what if the institution runs well, then that's the worst, because if the institution runs well, it doesn't really need a manager. It doesn't really need a manager. It's the manager's just backup. So if it runs well, given the infinitude of time, even if the first person who runs it isn't a scammer, even if the second person's not a scammer, it's just like the better the institution runs, I'll put it more specifically, the more surplus an institution creates, the more fuel there is for parasites to live off of. Alan Watts said something about this enlightened dude from Japan that if he had to give him one compliment, he would say that he didn't found any institutions. And I thought, why is that a compliment? It's a compliment because if you found an institution, I just had the other funny thought that if this is a live video, I'd be thinking, what if someone randomly pops in and says something? Because it's not a live video, I don't think that. It's interesting how the medium changes the message. The medium is the message. So why is it a good thing to not found an institution? Well, let's say, so I'm in an interesting situation. I'll just reflect on this from my own point of view, because this is the situation I find myself in. I have figured out how to fix what they describe as fatal insomnia. Pretty cool, right? Probably gonna make an institution about this, right? Like the medical system, so an institutionalized medicine, and now it's created a system that can't see its own nose in front of its face. Yeah, I think that's why. I'll get into like more of the details. So I've tried to convey to other people my understanding. And my understanding is really like this grasping. It's this grasping, reaching, feeling, breathing, centering thing that I do, where I search for the truth. And and it's something I learned by necessity. If there wasn't necessity, I wouldn't have learned it. It's like it's so fascinating. I guess like wrestling is an institution. But wrestling as an institution is controlled exposure to the reality of competition. But wrestling really feeds off of academia. It feeds off of the whole sports industry, and the whole sports industry feeds off of civilization itself, which feeds off of human beings' need for war. So, institutions. If I made an institution, I think that the institution that I made would inevitably end up becoming a mockery of all of the means that I initially tried to use to convey to my disciples the ideas and principles and feelings that I wanted to record and teach them and establish now the calls on my phone. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up a little bit, but no more so than it was already wrapping up. I am going to honor this idea, this train of thought, and follow it through to its end. And I think about this with the Jesuits and the Pharisees. The Pharisees is another, it's the institutional problem again. It's we follow the law of Moses. And Jesus says, I am the law. It's the institutional problem. I don't think I'm topping that ending. That's great.